What's up, guys? Who's ready for some worship?
This is Unstoppable God. pressing on till I see your face. I will live, let your will be done. I won't stop until your kingdom comes. 'Cause you are my freedom. We lift you higher, we lift you higher. Your love, never ending. Oh, oh, oh. You are alive in us. Nothing can take your place. You are all we need. Your love has set us free. Whoa, whoa. You are my freedom. We lift you higher, we lift you higher. Your love, never ending. Oh, oh, oh. You are alive in us. Nothing can take your place. You are all we need. Your love has set us free. And you are alive in us. Nothing can take your place. You are all we need. Your love has set us free. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa.
Welcome to week 4 of Video Sunday School, kids. Now, last week we looked at how Jesus came to serve us. Today we're going to look at the biggest act of service anyone ever did. And we also talked about how Christ promised in Matthew 10:32, "If you stand before others and are willing to say you believe in me, then I will tell my Father in heaven that you belong to me." Well, Christ had been sent to earth to carry out a mission for God. That mission was to perform an act of service that would make that promise possible. See, Christ had come to be a perfect sacrifice for all the bad things that you and I have done and will do. So last week we ended with Christ doing an act of service for his disciples. Do you remember what it was? That's right, he washed their feet. Well, after they ate dinner, they went to pray. And while they were praying, Christ was arrested and was taken and tried in a court and sentenced to death. Now, this was all done because Christ's message to us was seen by some as a threat to their power and authority. Christ was then taken and hung on a cross where he died. Now, Christ died on Friday afternoon. Some believers hurriedly buried him, and they all went home to observe the Sabbath on Saturday. Now, the believers, all being Hebrew, practiced the Sabbath, so they did no work on Saturday. Finally, on Sunday, when they could again work, the believers went to the tomb, where they planned to clean up the body and anoint it with oils and perfumes for proper burial. But when they got to the tomb, what did they find? Christ's dead body in the tomb? Guards that wouldn't let them in. Well, here, let me read what they found. This is from Matthew, starting in chapter 28, verse 2. Suddenly, an angel of the Lord came from the sky, and there was a huge earthquake. The angel went to the tomb and rolled the stone away from the entrance. Then he sat on top of the stone. The angel was shining as bright as lightning. His clothes were as white as snow. The soldiers guarding the tomb were very afraid of the angel. They shook with fear and then became like dead men. The angel said to the women, "Don't be afraid. I know you're looking for Jesus, the one who was killed on the cross. But he is not here. He has risen from death. as he said he would. Come and see the place where his body was. And go quickly and tell his followers, Jesus has risen from death. He is going into Galilee and will be there before you. You will see him there. Then the angel said, now I have told you. So the women left the tomb quickly. They were afraid, but they were also very happy. They ran to tell his followers what had happened. Suddenly, Jesus was there in front of them. He said, hello. The women went to him and holding on to his feet, worshiped him. Then Jesus said to them, don't be afraid. Go tell my followers to go to Galilee. They will see me there. See, Christ dying on the cross and rising again to be our living Savior is what made his promise to have those that believed in him be counted by God as his. That act of service is the biggest one that could ever happen. And Christ did it because he loves you and wants you to be with him forever. Have a great Easter. Remember, today we celebrate that the Lord is risen. See you next week, and we'll see what happens when Christ goes and talks to his believers.